Hi guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and it is July 15th. It's 11:32 p.m. Eastern Time. I apologize. I told you that I was going to start trying to bring these to you earlier in the evening, but, well, it didn't work out very well for me today. Anyway, let's get to this. Now, this is not Q per se, but it's Q-related news, and it's news that I think that you guys will certainly appreciate and find as fascinating as I do. Now, I do have a regular cornucopia of tidbits to bring you tonight. Some really interesting things, I think. We may feel that there's nothing happening, but if we really pay attention to some of the news, we realize that there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than we're aware of. Now, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that Q is going to post tomorrow. I could be right, I could be wrong. I guess it's a toss-up, but for some reason I'm thinking that tomorrow might be an important news day. I hope so. Now remember that Q told us that the truth would be revealed in July. Now, the truth about what? I don't know, but I know that Q had alluded to the fact that there would be a lot coming out in July. We are only halfway through July, so don't lose heart. Because I know for myself, I keep thinking, okay, today's the day, and then, nothing. But, we're all looking forward to that news, right? We're all looking forward to the truth coming out. But for now, let's go through some of these little news bits or things that I've grabbed from here and there, and it'll, I think, put some things together for us and let us see, maybe give us a peek behind the scenes. So let's get started. Now, I will warn you that I'm in a bit of a strange, bizarre mood tonight. Why? I don't know. Could be, I know it's not a full moon, so I don't know. But I will try to hold down the weirdness. Sometimes it gets the better of me. It just comes out, but I'm going to try to appear normal. All right. Now, this is someone that I follow on Twitter. Really, really like this person. Educating Liberals is what he goes by, and very, very good stuff here. Anyway, always, and if you're looking for someone good to follow, this would be a good person, I think. Never been disappointed with their tweets. I always get a lot from them. So I clipped this out. It says ICE agents arrested. Now, this is in 2017, mind you. ICE agents arrested more than 127,000 aliens with criminal charges. Charges included 76,000 drug offenses, 48,000 assault offenses, 11,000 weapon offenses, 5,000 sexual assault offenses, 2,000 kidnappings, 1,800 murders. And Democrats want to abolish ICE. Now, let that sink in, really. You think of, these are huge numbers. It's not like ICE is just out there, sitting in donut shops drinking coffee. They're performing a very needed and necessary service. Okay, and Democrats want to abolish them. Why? You'd have to ask yourself why. And I ask myself that every day. I wish I could put myself in their minds, and with normal people, usually you can. Normal people that think the way normal people think. I would like to think that my listeners are that way. I mean, I think that probably if you and I sat down together in a room, I could place myself in your head and you could place yourself in my head, and we could probably figure out fairly quickly why we each think the way we do. Not so easy with liberals, because no matter how I try to get my mind around this, and I do try to get my mind around it, I do try to figure out why are they thinking this way? What is, but I can't. I really can't. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm being completely honest and serious with you. I'm sure, if you've gone to college, university, community college, even if you've ever been on a debate team and you have to be in the position of, well, I'm going to argue against something that I may be against abortion, but they may place you in a position where you're arguing for it. And I really learn a lot from situations like that and appreciated being in positions like that where I've had to argue with people and put myself in other people's heads. But no matter how hard I try, I really can't with some of these people, because you look at things like this and then they want to abolish ICE, and I try to put myself in their head and I simply cannot. Now, I don't know if you guys are running into the same thing or not. Maybe I'm the only one that's experiencing this, but I'm trying very hard to understand these people. I'm trying, because most people have a reason for behaving the way they behave. Most people have a reason for believing the way they believe. And when you sit down and you talk to them, it makes sense. You think, okay, well, I may not agree with you, but I respect how you feel and I understand how you came to that conclusion, but I can't do that with these people. So that, for me, is what makes it difficult. I'd love to hear your experiences with this, because I'm sure you may have people in your family, maybe your immediate family, maybe people you work with or go to church with. Anyway, let's go on. Now, this I found interesting too. Anonymous. Let's think critically. Trump meeting with Putin, and Hussein decides it might be a good time to spend some time in Kenya. And that is exactly where he is. He's in Kenya right now. That's an interesting timing, isn't it? Wait a minute. Didn't Q say something about that? Well, we're going to look at that in a minute and find that, yes, indeed, he did. Now, here, Anonymous says, and again, I clipped this from Twitter, Brazilian ex-president arrested. France, ex-prime minister arrested. South Korea, ex-prime minister arrested. Saudi princes arrested. Most powerful people in the world hunted and jailed. Are you paying attention? Then there's two pictures, which I love, because this obviously Trump is looking at Hussein saying, soon. And then again here, and I love this expression, because here she's just giggling up a storm. She just thinks it's a riot. And Trump has this very serious look on his face. He clearly knows something at that point that she doesn't, and underneath, soon. I don't know if you've ever had cats or not. I have two cats, and when I wake up in the morning, they are both sitting there staring at me, making me think, wonder how long they've been looking at me like that. And that's always what I imagine they're thinking. Soon. She's going to fall back asleep, and it will be our opportunity to eat her. Anyway, again, okay, I'm sorry. The weirdness is starting to come out. I'm really going to try to appear normal. Okay. I don't want to scare the normal people. Now, after this, down here below, we have something from Q, which someone has, this was also in this Twitter feed, and it goes back to a Q post from March 9th, where Q says, when we're done, he'll claim Kenyan citizenship as a way to escape. Q. Isn't that interesting? I think that's totally fascinating, because as soon as I saw that about Kenya, I thought, oh, is he really in Kenya? And I checked. Yes, he is. So I'm thinking, well, isn't that something? Because isn't this more proof of Q? Seriously? Like, how often has Obama gone to Kenya? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he has been before, as when he was president, but I haven't, I just think the timing's a little odd. That's all. So, and I think that it's further proof of Q, because he's in trouble. He's run into Kenya. What's he run into Kenya for? Is he trying to claim citizenship there? I'm not thinking he wants to live in America, certainly not in Trump's America, where he is considered a criminal. Well, he's not considered, he is a criminal. It's just a fact. So, and then down here, we see, and this person says, future proves past. Absolutely. Happening now. Obama arrives in Kenya. So, what's he doing there? Don't know. Visiting relatives? I'm not laughing because, there's nothing wrong with being Kenyan. Absolutely. I'm just laughing because he tries to pull himself off as an American citizen, and he is not. So that's why I'm laughing. Is he visiting relatives there? I don't know. His grandmother died very suspiciously, I would say, right before he became president. Anyway, we'll go on. Now here's something else pertaining to Obama. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, thought another one was going to come, but nope, scared it away. All right. Confirmed. Barack Obama was running the entire Spygate operation that violated federal law to spy on Trump campaign officials. Well, are we surprised? I didn't think so. In recent months, Democrats have laughed in the face of everyone that has even considered the possibility that Barack Obama was involved in the counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. Now it appears as though conservatives will have the last laugh after all. After an in-depth analysis of text messages sent between FBI agent Peter Strzok and former FBI lawyer Lisa Page around the time the investigation into Trump campaign began, National Review's Andrew McCarthy discovered that the Department of Justice had redacted bits of information that were damning for Barack Obama and his administration. Well, of course, you don't think that they were, they had to redact that. They had to, had to protect the poor guy, they didn't want him going to prison. We do. Anyway, damning evidence. One of the most revealing text messages that McCarthy highlighted came from Strzok, which appeared to indicate that, contrary to what liberals have been saying for months now, the Obama White House was involved in the entire anti-Trump operation. Related, a deep state leak to the New York Times reveals that Obama regime spied on the Trump campaign without evidence of any crime. But of course, we know that because we've been following this and we have been following Q. The message, which related to a high-level meeting with CIA officials on August 5th, 2016, read, "And hi, went well, best we could have expected. Other than, redacted, quote, the White House is running this." My answer, well, maybe for you they are. And of course, I was planning on telling this guy, thanks for coming. We've got an hour, but with Bill Presap there, I've got no control. Bill Presap was the Assistant Director of Counterintelligence and Strzok's immediate supervisor at the FBI. In response to Strzok's text message, Lisa Page replied, "Yeah, whatever," regarding the White House comment. We got the emails that say otherwise. Based on this short conversation between Strzok and Page, it sure seems as though what conservatives have been saying for months now is true after all, that the Obama White House did, in fact, play a role in the counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. Still, though, there are two important questions that need to be answered. First, who was a redacted official who stated that the White House is running this regarding the investigation? And second, what is the content of the emails referenced by Lisa Page that say otherwise? In order to provide context to what already appears to be damning evidence against the Obama administration, these questions need to be answered sooner rather than later. And this says, related, Obama's spying on the Trump campaign included the use of secret national security letters reserved for the most serious threats. One thing we know for sure is that Obama's spying on Trump team is turning out to be much bigger and more significant scandal than the so-called Russia collusion narrative ever was. In fact, just this past weekend, Michael Barone of the New York Post made the argument that Obama's spying scandal had reached a point where it is now starting to resemble Watergate. Well, personally, I think it dwarfs Watergate by incalculable proportions, because yes, Watergate was huge. I think this is even bigger. I personally think this is far larger than Watergate ever pretended to be. The crime at the root of Watergate was an attempt at surveillance of the DNC after George McGovern seemed about to win the Democratic Party presidential nomination, just as the government misconduct in Russiagate was an attempt at surveillance of the Republican Party's national campaign after Trump clinched its nomination, Barone wrote. It's either Barone or Barone, but I like the sound of Barone better, but it's probably Barone. Indeed, the left behind the scenes efforts to tear down President Trump without any significant evidence of any wrongdoing whatsoever is quickly turning into one of the most serious scandals in recent history. Highly unethical and potentially illegal acts were seemingly committed, and now the liberals are desperately trying to cover their tracks through lies and the perpetuation of misinformation. Yes, they are. Sadly, however, it's far from guaranteed that anybody will be held accountable. If history has taught us anything, it's that liberals have a knack for avoiding legal consequences after committing crimes, even though they belong behind bars. Only time will tell if the United States justice system will prevail. Now, remember as well, because I know I read this and my heart falls a little bit. I'm a little bit chest-fallen, because I think, well, are we ever going to see justice? Are they going to be held accountable? But we have to remember that Q said that it was needed. They were cleaning out these different agencies like the DOJ and the FBI and all this. They were cleaning out these agencies so that justice could prevail, because that you couldn't bring these people to justice when some of the people that they might be facing are corrupt themselves and maybe blackmailed. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, I would have to say. Cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping for the best. I'm believing for the best. And again, cautiously optimistic. So let's go back. See what else we have. Now, this I thought was a little interesting. Okay, I thought it was a lot interesting. That's why I thought I'd bring it to you. What's this say? Unable to open. Come on, please open. Open. Dang you. Dang you. Okay, hang on. I'm nothing if I'm not persistent. Copy. Let's see if we can find it another way. Why should I give up? I shouldn't. Well, this is similar, but it's not the same thing. Okay, Director of Islamic, I did have the actual news article, but for some reason. Director of Islamic Dallas Council Relations, Mustafa Carroll, says Sharia law is above the Constitution. If we are practicing Muslims, we are above the law of the land. In America, we live by the Constitution. Assimilate or leave. Now, in one way, this is alarming, but in another way it isn't, because I am a Christian, and I know that many of you that listen to me are Christian, and I'm not just Christian in name only. I do try, with the Lord's help, to live the best of my ability. And if there was a law in the land that violated my Christian faith, I would have to break that law. And I know that, right now, of course, there are no laws that I'm aware of that violate my Christian faith, that I'm aware of yet, or that I've run across. But, for example, if I can't even think of an example, but if something went against my Christian faith, but it was the law, I would have to disregard that law. Like, for example, well, I don't even have an example. But so I understand where the Muslims are coming from in a sense, but, I do believe this as well, assimilate or leave, because if I was totally against the laws of the land in America, I would leave, right? I mean, what would be the sense in being there? So that's just where I stand. I know that some of you are not believers, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree, and we can still respect one another and where we're coming from. But anyway, here he says, if we are practicing Muslim, we are above the law of the land. Well, no one is above the law of the land. Even as a Christian, even if I disagree with that law still applies to me because I'm living in that land. Correct? It's like if you're speeding in your car and an officer stops you, you can't say, well, but I don't, I'm above that law. I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to follow it. Well, you're still liable to the consequences. But under Sharia, they want to bring in Sharia law so that they are free from the consequences. The director of the Dallas Council on American Islamic Relations, Mustafa Carroll, made a surprising and shocking statement during, let me see if I can get to the actual article. Oh, well, I can. Look at that. Here it is. Ta-da! The director of the Dallas Council on I'm not going to read all of this, but the director of the Dallas Council on American Islamic Relations, Mustafa Carroll, made a surprising and shocking statement during a Muslim rally in Austin, Texas. He firmly believes that the message of the Quran is supreme over the United States Constitution. The statement would be shocking to most citizens of the United States unless they had some perspective on who CARE really is. He said, if we are practicing Muslims, we are above the law of the land. CARE is the nation's largest Muslim civil liberties and advocacy organization. Their headquarters is located in Washington, D.C. They use lobbyists, the media, and action alerts to promote a positive image of Islam in America during a time when radical Islams, ISIS, in other parts of the world, are crucifying children in the name of Allah and quoting the Quran. Though the Obama administration has a hard time calling it radical Islam for fear of offending regular Muslims. In 2007, the Holy Land Foundation trial found the Holy Land Foundation charity guilty of funneling millions of dollars back to the terrorist organization Hamas. Interestingly enough, CARE was among the organizations named during the trial as unindicted co-conspirators. To put that into perspective, the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon, was named an unindicted co-conspirator during the Watergate trial. So, yeah, they're wanting to bring in Sharia law, and they don't believe that they should be liable to our laws. But unfortunately, I disagree. Now, I'm saying if it was the law to do something that I felt was against my Christian faith, for example, let me just put it this way: I'm against abortion, and that's not really. I don't want to start anything on my board about this at all. I really don't, because I understand that not everyone feels the way I feel, but I feel this way because I am a Christian. So if I was a nurse and I was told, or a doctor, and I was told you must perform abortions, well, even though that was part of my job, I could not do that, even though that would be perfectly legal and everything else according to the laws of the land. I could not do that. I would have to resign my position because I would not violate my faith. So that's what I'm saying. But in that case, I don't know. They're looking at this a whole different way. They're wanting to change the legal system. So anyway, let's move on. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I'm already in trouble. I already know it. I know I'm going to get hate stuff, hate mail. It's okay. I have enough people that are very sweet to me that make up for the hate. Thank goodness. So, now, I love this. Now, I don't know if you're a fan of James Woods. I follow him on Twitter. I think that the guy is hysterical. I think that he's extremely brilliant. I believe somebody told me he was a member of Mensa. So he's got an extremely high IQ. He's no fool. But I love some of his tweets. They're priceless. So here's another person that if you are on Twitter, he might be a good one to follow. And he says, how is it that Trump eradicated ISIS in a few weeks, but Obama couldn't do it for years? I think that's a question we've probably all asked ourselves, right? I mean, a few years ago, it seemed that, okay, ISIS has gotten so huge, it's never going to be defeated. And then Donald Trump becomes president, and within a year, you hardly ever hear ISIS anymore. It's like it's all fizzled out. How did that happen? Well, we all know how it happened, but it's interesting. We should be asking our Democrat friends, how did that happen? They'll probably still not give Trump any, credit for that. Oh, I've got a horrible, horrible foot cramp. Sorry, Charlie horse. Oh, they hurt so bad. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe, is it magnesium? You're not getting enough magnesium? There's something that if you're lacking, you get cramps, and holy crap, that hurts. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, that hurts so bad. Okay. Sorry. First time that's happened while I've been recording. Okay. Now, let me see. I wanted to show you guys this because I don't understand it, and probably you won't understand it either, okay? There's riots in Paris after France wins the World Cup, but I want to show you what these guys are doing. I'm not going to play the video because it's just a lot of screaming and yelling, but just watch these guys. And there's a part here where they're just they're breaking all the windows of people's cars. They're breaking into stores. I guess this isn't the one that I thought it was. There's one where they're breaking into a motorcycle store and they're like going out with motorcycles. And I'm thinking, okay, you're absolutely destroying other people's property in so-called celebration. I don't get it. I really don't get it. They just won the World Cup. They should be celebrating, and that's wonderful. They want to take to the streets and celebrate, but why does it have to turn into riots? They're burning cars, they're breaking windows in stores and just coming out, with handfuls of merchandise. These are store owners that work hard for a living. I don't get it. Why destroy your city? These are probably some of the same shops that these people shop in. And they destroy them. It's just like the riots in Ferguson. They burnt the town down. These are stores that they shopped in. And they were, burning down the stores of their friends and neighbors. And then probably when they sobered up, they're like, well, dang, I don't have anywhere to shop now. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I wish I could find the one that okay, maybe this is it. Let me see. Hang on. I wanted to see this one where, here's a bus that they've completely destroyed. Yeah, this is the one that I'd seen earlier. You gotta watch these guys. I don't get it. Let me see if I can find where they're... Look at this. don't get it. So they're putting the police at risk. They're putting everyone at risk. They're wrecking people's property, innocent people's property. What did these people do? And now they set things on fire and they prevent the fire truck from getting there. Now, what if that was your house? I don't get it. Of course, the one guy on the top of the ambulance was had an Islamic flag. But look, it's just absolute. I don't know. I didn't get it. I wanted to show that to you guys because I just couldn't believe it. I thought, I know that people riot, things like this, like turns into a riot, but I don't get it. You're celebrating something good. Something good has just happened, and you celebrate it by destroying the place where you live. Unbelievable. Again, it's hard. How do you put yourself in their heads? I can't. I just can't. Okay, let's go on to something a little lighter now. I found this and I found it hysterical. Here's the Trump baby balloon, Trump baby blimp. Well, they called it a blimp, but it was pretty tiny for a blimp. And then we've got Hillary. Who wore it better? I'd say the blimp. Although she doesn't look bad. She doesn't look bad here. I'll give her that. I just don't like her personality. I don't like what she stands for. But, except that it's orange. Orange, just not my color. All right. Now, I think this is interesting too. And got this from someone's Twitter page. And says, this was Tommy Robinson, and pro-Trump rally today in London. This was from yesterday, the 14th of July, 2018. The crowd is bigger than the anti-Trump protest held yesterday. The mainstream media won't talk about it. Now, why won't they talk about it? Well, look at this crowd. It's freaking colossal. Now, remember how I was making fun of the crowd before? For the anti-Trump and the type of people that were protesting. Now, look, that is one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. It's massive. It dwarfs everything. So, yeah, how come we didn't see that in the media? Things that make you go, Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And let me end it here, giving you a little bit of video of Pelosi doing, what Pelosi does. Let's just have a boo at this. Alrighty. Now, I like this because he says, hang on 1 second. Okay, this guy, MAGA Patriot Steve, I rue the day we no longer have Nancy Pelosi to make fun of. As we progress to that end, let's savor this video of her nonsensical rambling about President Trump meeting with Putin. She sounds like she's doing an impression of Charlie Brown's teacher. And remember that? Wah, 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 wah. Okay, now let's listen. Okay, it's going to be painful. I'm sorry. It's not going to last very long. Just trying to psych you up. It's like when you go to get a shot and you say, is this going to be painful? And the nurse says, yeah, it is. Well, that's what I'm doing for you now. Is it going to be painful? Yeah, it is. Okay.
To the president, effectively saying from the GOP tax scam for the rich that added up $2 trillion or more The president said he was going to move for negotiation. I'm going to negotiate, what was it? Like crazy. Families across America are getting a raw deal from the Republicans. Democrats are proposing a better deal. And all of the behavior of the president this week as a continuation of his behavior before begs the question that I have asked for 18 months. What do the Russians have on Donald Trump, politically, financially, and personally? Protecting the Affordable Care Act and addressing some dangers that the court might present, and again, strengthening. It's a build our infrastructure.
So, really, I mean, I'm not making fun of her. I'm really not, because there is a medical problem there. It's pretty easy for anybody to see that. There's a medical issue. What I'm making fun of is that, well, I'm not making fun, but what I'm pointing out is the fact that why is she still in office? She's not capable. She's no longer, she doesn't remember. There are people aiding her in her talks, giving her information because she gets lost, and you can see it in her eyes just as plain as day. They completely go blank. There's nothing there. And it's evident, that she's not just searching for a word, it just completely is gone, and she goes blank for a minute. Now, to me, she's suffering from the early onset Alzheimer's, or perhaps maybe not so early, but you would think that it's quite evident that she's not capable of doing her job anymore. She needs to sit down. So not only that, I mean, I don't know. Pelosi has only been in the news for me a couple years. Like, I never followed her before all this. So never really heard much about her before all this. So I don't know how long this has been going on. But anyway, it's really hard to take anything she says seriously. It really is, because it's just rambling. I don't even know what she said. Oh yes, and I have one more thing that I want to go over. I do have a lot more stuff, but I'm trying to keep my videos a little bit more reasonably lengthed. But this I found, and I thought it was interesting. Hang on. MSM promotes that Pizzagate is a false conspiracy theory. And look at this. Here's Queen Beatrix here. And what is she wearing? A pizza brooch. Now, look at the gown that she's wearing. It's very formal. There, here's somebody in suits. Marina is being Marina. They're obviously at some sort of a do. But why on earth would someone of her caliber wear a pizza brooch? Do you know anybody that's ever worn a pizza brooch? I don't. And I know a fair amount of people. Been around the rich, and I've been around the really poor. I've never seen anybody with a pizza brooch, ever. I've never seen anyone with pizza earrings, pizza necklace, never. But you would not expect someone of royalty to be wearing a pizza brooch. And of course, here is Marina Abramovich. I sometimes used to call her, well, I have called her Abramovic, but it's not, it's Abramovich, and I have to keep reminding myself that. So, says forgets to scrub picture of Queen Beatrix pizza brooch with spirit cooker Abramovich. So, yeah. You think that's just a coincidence? I don't. I think it's a very odd thing for a queen to wear a pizza brooch. She is advertising. I'm one of you. That's what she's saying. So I'm going to leave it there. I do have some other things, but they're all along the same line, so I may combine them into one video as well. We'll see. But I am keeping a watch out for more Q posts, and I will bring those to you when they're available. And so that's it for tonight. That's it for this video anyway, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful night's sleep, and please stay safe.